Welcome to the Apple Daily News. This podcast is created by generative AI. Today is September 3rd, 2024, and we have a lineup of intriguing stories from the world of Apple and technology. As always, links to all stories can be found in the episode notes. In a recent development, Apple reportedly considered relocating the filming of the Will Smith movie Emancipation from Louisiana. This was in response to a proposed bill that would allow app developers to use alternative payment systems outside of Apple's App Store. The bill was seen as a threat to Apple's revenue model, as it would enable developers to bypass the fees charged by Apple for app distribution. An Apple representative allegedly communicated this threat to a senior lawmaker, Tanner McGee, stating that the company would withdraw from the film project, which would negatively impact the local economy. However, Apple has denied making any threats regarding the film. The proposed legislation in Louisiana is part of a broader trend, as the state was among the first to attempt imposing age verification requirements on tech companies to protect children online. Apple has opposed such measures, arguing that they would unfairly burden developers. In response to another bill that included age verification provisions, Apple lobbyists reportedly inundated a freshman legislator with messages, leading to the removal of the controversial provision from the bill. Child safety advocates argue that major tech companies like Apple and Google should take responsibility for verifying user ages, rather than placing the onus on app developers. Despite the push for age verification laws, Apple has consistently resisted these efforts, claiming they are unnecessary. Switching gears to Google, the tech giant has introduced a significant update to its Chrome and Google Password Manager, enabling passkey synchronization across Android, macOS, and Windows devices. This feature, announced in July 2024, allows users to create a passkey on their Android device and have it automatically available on other devices where they are logged into their Google account via Chrome. Previously, users had to rely on QR codes and Bluetooth for cross-device authentication, which was cumbersome. The new functionality simplifies the login process, as passkeys created on Android can now be used seamlessly on Windows and macOS devices without needing additional password manager apps. However, the feature is not yet available for iOS users, who must continue using iCloud Keychain or third-party password managers. This development marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing competition among major tech companies, Google, Apple, and Microsoft, over password management and authentication systems. Google's strategy leverages its dominant position in the browser market, with Chrome holding a 65% share globally, to provide a unified experience for users across platforms. In response, Apple plans to release its standalone Passwords app for Android and Windows, while Microsoft is expected to enhance passkey synchronization in future Windows updates. As passkeys become the standard for authentication, the landscape of password management is set to evolve significantly, with users likely to have more options for syncing their credentials across devices. Let's take a trip down memory lane to 1999, when Apple marketed the Power Mac G4 as the world's first personal supercomputer. This powerful machine was subject to US export regulations that classified it under certain military-related guidelines. The Export Administration Act of 1979 allowed the US government to regulate the export of civilian technologies with potential military applications, known as dual-use technologies. When the G4 was released, it had a processing power of 2,775 memtops, which temporarily placed it in a limbo regarding export to Tier 3 countries, where stricter controls were in place. Apple's marketing claimed that the G4 was classified as a weapon, which was misleading. While it was included in regulations that could apply to military capabilities, it was not classified as a weapon in the conventional sense. Despite the temporary export restrictions, Apple used this situation to enhance its marketing narrative, portraying the G4 as a groundbreaking machine. The US government later increased the MTOPS limits further, allowing for broader export of high-performance computers. Overall, while the Power Mac G4 was a powerful system, its classification was a technicality rather than a direct indication of it being a weapon. Now, let's rewind to September 2nd, 1985, a significant day in Apple's history. Steve Jobs was preparing to leave the company following a reorganization led by CEO John Sculley. Jobs was stripped of his role as general manager of the Macintosh division, which had seen disappointing sales despite positive reviews. In a move that fueled speculation about his future, Jobs sold a substantial portion of his Apple stock, totaling $21.43 million, over a 2-month period. This included the sale of 850,000 shares for $14 million in July, and another 500,000 shares for $7.43 million in August. Industry insiders began to speculate that Jobs was planning to start his own company, potentially inviting former Apple employees to join him. Around this time, Jobs had a pivotal meeting with Nobel laureate Paul Berg, which sparked an idea that would lead to the formation of Next, a new computer company. Initially focused on educational machines, Next would later expand its scope and play a crucial role in Jobs' career trajectory. This period marked a turning point for Jobs, ultimately leading to his return to Apple in 1997. The events of September 1985 serve as a reminder of the intense speculation surrounding Apple's future and Jobs' influence on the tech industry. Finally, in a thought experiment, designer Jimmy Tidy explores the concept of Apple creating an e-bike that aligns with its design ethos and customer base. He notes that the micromobility market, including e-bikes, is growing rapidly, with McKinsey estimating it could reach $500 billion by 2030. Tidy argues that while many current e-bikes lack aesthetic appeal and functionality, Apple could leverage its design expertise to create a stylish, user-friendly product. The target market would primarily consist of urban dwellers, who are likely to be relatively affluent and environmentally conscious. Key design considerations for the Apple e-bike include safety, security, ease of transport, and low maintenance. Tidy suggests features like a folding mechanism for easy storage and transport, a 3-wheel design for stability, and a digital drive system to eliminate traditional bike maintenance issues. He also emphasizes the importance of integrating technology, such as smartphone connectivity, for navigation and tracking. The proposed price point for the e-bike would be around $3,500, reflecting Apple's premium positioning. Tidy concludes that while cramming every tech feature into one bike may not be practical, Apple has the potential to revolutionize urban cycling and reshape perceptions of biking through innovative design and technology. That's all for today's episode of the Apple Daily News. We hope you found these stories insightful and engaging. Be sure to check the episode notes for links to all the stories we covered. Join us again tomorrow for more updates from the world of Apple and technology. Until then, stay informed and stay curious.